Hey, welcome back to His Rising Souls. Today I wanted there's so much that I can't wait to talk about, but today specifically because I went on a walk and something just landed on my spirit, and I've thought about this a couple times in my life for sure. Even I remember being in elementary school walking home and thinking this at one point. So now here I am, and I'm not in elementary school, believe it or not, but uh today I went on a walk and I'm looking across this field and I know the little yellow flowers and they're dandelions. And I sat and thought about, I guess if you had a title of this video, it would be perspective. To like almost be aware of where your perspective came from. And what made me think about this is when I saw the dandelion, I went to a retreat about a year and a half ago, and there was a lady there that made dandelion jelly, and everyone was raving about it, that it was really tasty, and everyone was excited that she brought it for them again that year, and everyone was raving about the health benefits of it. And so I actually, on my walk today, when I saw these little dandelions in this field, it made me think of all of that. And I actually stopped and looked up the health benefits. So I pulled it up here. And dandelions actually have vitamin A, B, C, D, as well as minerals, iron, potassium, zinc. They are excellent for your lawn. They have wide spreading roots that loosen the hard packed soil. So they like aerated. Which reduces erosion if there's a root system within it. And it has calcium. It replenishes the calcium in the soil. So I'm looking at the flower, let alone that it's adorable, and it looks like if you pulled the sun out of the sky and you made it into a little cute flower. I mean, you have your dandelion. They're really beautiful. They're very intricate. They have identical, for the most part, I don't know how many, but just tons of little beautiful, identical, delicate petals that make this tiny little intricate sun looking flower that is spread throughout this field. And they're considered a weed to most people. And so it just started making me think that here's this darling little flower that's very good for us, health benefits. It also helps our soil. It also puts nutrients back in our soil. They're hardy. They're somewhat invasive. So they're, pretty unstoppable, which I believe is how they were created, for good reasons. Like most things that we as humans here on Earth sometimes get I think false knowledge, or we're led down a path by someone in our life, or a book, or a commercial, or a movie, a song, a billboard, a TV show. Just there's so many things that can leave impressions. And I think ultimately our upbringing, if it's our family, if it's a teacher, if it's someone in a leadership role, that again, we're taught as a child to trust their opinion, or that, they're educated and that their opinion counts. And it's typically, for the most part, when you're young, you take that very black and white. Like if a teacher teaches you something, or someone older than you that you've been taught to respect in your life and look up to, that they're right. And therefore the seed is planted in us, and we run out the door little, wanting to be confident and have knowledge and know things. And even when we're little, we don't even know what wisdom is, but we all naturally crave it. So here we are with dandelions. And when I'm walking and looking at them, knowing the health benefits, seeing how beautiful they are, seeing what they do for our land, it made me think of what is happening on other levels in the world today. We have a flower that's beneficial to us, that's free, that regerminates naturally. It's hardy. It's hard to stop it from growing. But we are taught that it's a weed, that it's ugly, that it's invasive, which is derogatory to be invasive. And so we go out and we hire companies, or we buy weed killer and have people, or we choose ourselves to spend money that we make being away from our home, being away from our family. We go and make money to then pay companies or to go and buy chemicals that are harmful, to then have them applied and sprayed all over our yard where we live. The entire surrounding of our home is sprayed with a chemical that we pay to have sprayed, because we see a beautiful little yellow flower that's packed full of goodness for us and that's excellent for our soil. We have it killed. So we pay money for chemicals to be sprayed around our yard, which is around our home, where if you have children, they play in it. If you have animals, they run in and out and bring it into your house. Or it's just bad for our children to have it on their shoes, fingers. Gosh only knows what goes into their mouth out there. And our animals running in and out. And it can't be good for the grass, as much as maybe it's not formulated to kill the grass. It's a chemical. And the people who are spraying it have to wear gloves, and I don't think all of them do, but sometimes, are required to wear a mask or suggested to wear a mask to not breathe this chemical in. And that just really made me think about how much of our perspective is formed from our own free will, that we choose and stop to actually think, to not just stay on the generational pattern and habits of doing what our parents did, or doing what we were taught in a book or on the news or by a professor or a teacher or the neighbor, or homeowners associations, that you have to have your yard treated, because at this point, as a society, we are, for the most part, trained that you're not allowed to have weeds in your yard. That keeping up with the image of having what looks like a golf course or turf in your front yard is actually favorable. That's goal. That I would say universally in America, if you care about your lawn, that you want to keep up with the neighbor's lawn and you don't want any imperfections, which actually were created to do great things for our health and for our yard and soil. So I think overall, this video, I just wanted to, bring awareness. Think for yourself. Do you think for yourself? Take the time to really stop and ask yourself those questions. Like, that is a perfect, I think, analogy for what you believe in. I would say stop and ask yourself, I'm just going to focus on the dandelion and the weed killer. Is it something that you can stop and change and reprogram, or if anything, deprogram yourself to then have, virgin nest thoughts of making your own decisions on what's good for you or your family or the life that you want to live? And I just think that we all need to stop and focus on what we're being fed and how much do we want to continue on the cycle that we've been taught. And it doesn't take a lot, but it does take time, and it does take to rethink things and to be uncomfortable and to step out of the box that you and I have felt comfortable living in. And once you start making changes like that, I myself, it's kind of a natural high because you're actually in control rather than thinking getting your weeds, the dandelions sprayed and spending money to have chemicals in your yard. And now you're in control because you don't have any beautiful little yellow flowers that are considered weeds in your yard. When you stop and you save the money and you don't have chemicals in your yard and you have these little yellow flowers that are excellent for you, and they're actually pretty throughout your yard. It's a free little yellow flower in your yard. And enjoy the change. That's actually taking control. That's really the definition of control versus what we all do and live in the Truman Show. It was a Jim Carrey movie that really actually is fascinating if you ever have time. And it's kind of, the world we live in is very much influenced by what others that we are taught to respect and listen to. And our perspective is not our own. And I think stopping and bringing awareness to that, to everything that you do, is, I think, going to make changes in the world if we're all willing. So, cheers to little yellow dandelions in everyone's yard from now on. I'm going to, strike and keep the dandelions going. Have a good day. And I'm sure this brain of mine will come up with something else. Good night.